another video game review. This time I'm looking at the highly anticipated Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, I haven't done a video about my thoughts about Metal Gear Solid 5 since I think sometime last summer. But ever since then, it was obviously announced that Ground Zeroes, which was thought to be part of the same game, was going to get its own release. And when the trailer for Ground Zeroes first came out, it was not originally going to be part of 5. It was going to be its own separate title, supposedly. But now it's part of the Metal Gear Solid 5 game series. And there's a lot of controversy behind Ground Zeroes. Mainly because of the short campaign, the short story mode. We're going to talk about all the bad about this game first off, because it's kind of a big bad. And if you're not used to it, if you weren't expecting it, it could be pretty upsetting. But I was expecting this to be a short game from the get-go, because they said that for at least a year they've been saying that Ground Zeroes is going to be a prologue for the Phantom Pain, and it was going to be that Phantom Pain was going to be 200 times the size of Ground Zeroes. And ever since the first trailer came out a number of years ago, I forget, I think it might have come out in 2012, where this was first announced, that it was all just going to be basically just take place in Camp Omega. I was expecting to be fairly short. So the length of the game does not bother me. I really enjoyed the game. And if you are a hardcore Metal Gear Solid fan, as you can see I am here, then I can get the enjoyment out of this. And it's only a $30 title, and it's just a good tease. And it's not like people haven't paid full price for demos before. Before Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, a Japanese demo disc came out with Zone of the Enders, which is a full price game. You had to pay $50, but a lot of people didn't really care about that game. It was a good game, turned out. But most people really bought the game just for the demo disc, and that was a full price game. So a lot of people paid $50 for Zone of the Enders just for the demo disc. And the demo disc was not even the full tanker level. It was just up until the boss fight with Olga. So that could have been beat within 10-15 minutes, but a lot of people didn't mind that. But then you get the full game, and it was a good preview. But when Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out, I think people are a little bit more spoiled now. I think it is because of how long it's taken for the Phantom Pain to be released, and with Ground Zeroes been, announced since at least since 2012, that I guess they were thinking that it could feel like two completely different games. But I can perfectly understand if someone's a newcomer coming into the Metal Gear Solid franchise and just feeling gypped with Ground Zeroes, because it is not the main game. It's a preview. It's a trial for the Phantom Pain, which is going to be awesome. So, let's talk all about the good now, because that's the only bad. It's a short campaign, but I feel that the price is worth it. I love Ground Zeroes. I've played through the campaign many times already. Done the side missions, unlocked the Deja Vu exclusive side mission, which the PlayStation 3 and 4 get the Deja Vu side mission, while the Xbox 360 and 1 get the side mission of Raiden. Not too much sure about that, but the Deja Vu mission is pretty fun. You not only can you play as classic Snake, but once you beat the game on hard, you can play as the cyborg ninja, which most people did not know about. The gameplay is fantastic. A lot of changes that were made in the gameplay that I really, really like. Is I can honestly say, throughout all the other Metal Gear Solid games, I never once used the binoculars. Never have. Never even cared about. Most of the time, you even forgetting about that the binoculars even existed. While in Ground Zeroes, and I'm assuming in the Phantom Pain, the binoculars is a major part of the gameplay, and I really like that because you just one button, use binoculars, zoom in with the R3 button, and you use the binoculars to mark your enemies. And because ever since I'd say Metal Gear Solid 2, they've been slowly phasing out the Soliton radar or any form of radars. And finally, in Metal Gear Solid 5, there's no form of radar. But the way you see your enemies is you have to spot them first, use your binoculars, mark them, and you can see them through walls, and you see a little dot, see they're asleep or awake, dead, whatever, and you can track them. But you have to stay focused on them. It's good. The CQC combat is fairly standard. The way you carry enemies is a lot better. The maneuvering ability, it feels a lot more natural. The targeting system is about the same as it was from Metal Gear Solid 4. Nothing too drastic there. You can't carry all your guns at once. You have a very limited supply of guns that you can carry at one time. The graphics are absolutely amazing. And the switch between the cutscenes to the actual gameplay is flawless. It's seamless and it's beautiful. And it definitely has by far the best facial animations, best lighting, best sound design in any video game I've played so far. And this is just a tease of what the Phantom Pain is going to be. Then that just makes me really excited to see how the Phantom Pain is going to play and sound. The Camp Omega base is really fun to navigate. You can find a lot of stuff. You can find the Fox or the XOF patches, which unlocks the exclusive console mission. Driving around vehicles feels a little bit awkward at first, especially if you're coming off of, say, Grand Theft Auto 5. It does feel a little bit stiff, a little bit awkward, but it's alright. It's mostly not meant for long-term travel. It's mostly meant for stealth, being able to stay hidden. So it works to that aspect. Now, another controversial thing that a lot of people are torn between is that David Hayter is no longer Snake, aka Big Boss, and now he is replaced with A-list actor Kiefer Sutherland. First off, a lot of people are under the opinion that David Hayter is Snake. He always has been Snake, and he should always be Snake. And I agree to that to an extent. He should be solid Snake. I feel a lot of people are that I think the main reason that he was casted as Big Boss, as a younger Big Boss, is because at younger point in life they should sound the same. But I think the most prominent point is that they kind of hired Hayter for Big Boss as just a fan service, just to keep on the tradition of Hayter being Snake. But you have to admit that David Hayter is also not a professional actor. His delivery of lines is pretty dramatic, and that with Hayter's delivery of an older Big Boss, it just did not seem natural to me, especially in Peace Walker. Peace Walker, I really felt that that's when they started, should have cast a different actor, because it did not feel like Big Boss to me. It just felt like old Snake. and they needed to start making that show the difference that Big Boss is not Snake. I mean, he's not Solid Snake. And in the casting of David Hayter, it's what I feel is the perfect choice. I love even David Hayter kind of changes his voice a little bit, just to, almost kind of doing a David Hayter impression at some points. Just to show that it's not just him, just phoning it in. He is doing, he's acting. He's trying to be like portraying what he thinks Snake should sound like, and it's not his natural voice, and he is acting, and it's so good. I'm perfectly content with Sutherland portraying Snake, aka Big Boss, in Ground Zeroes and The Phantom Pain. Perfect choice in my opinion. Absolutely love it. I'm not a huge David Hayter fan anyway. I'm not sure exactly why there's just such a outcry of Hayter has to be Snake no matter what. I don't quite understand it. I mean, the Solid Snake's only been the main protagonist in only 2 Metal Gear Solid games. And that's the first one, Metal Gear Solid, and Metal Gear Solid 4, where he was Old Snake. Most of the time it's been Big Boss or some other character. I mean, Solid Snake wasn't even the main protagonist in Sons of Liberty. It was mostly Raiden. Sure, Snake was in it, but I mean, it was mostly Raiden was the main character in that game. And then Big Boss was in Snake Eater, and then Portable Ops, Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes now, and then Phantom Pain. I mean, David Hayter, I mean, you are Solid Snake to me, but you should not be Big Boss. I know that's probably going to upset a lot of people, but give it that. Is it worth going out and buying? A lot of people are buying digital copies of it, which I totally get. I prefer having physical copies of games, if possible, just because I just like to have, I like to have something I can hold up, something I can confirm exists, and not just solely rely on digital media. So if it's definitely worth, in my mind, $30 for this great game. But if you're not a hardcore Metal Gear Solid fan, I would say definitely rent it, definitely Redbox it, borrow it from someone, because if you're a gamer at all, you're definitely gonna love this game. It's hard as hell. The side missions are hard, but it's a good challenging hard. It's super fun. It's a even though there's not a whole lot of story in this game, it definitely brings you in. It sucks you in about what the hell is really going on with XOF and Fox, and the conflict between Mother Base and Cypher, and really good. I definitely recommend, if you're a gamer, if you're a Metal Gear Solid fan, definitely buy this game. You're gonna love it. And if you're just coming into the Metal Gear Solid franchise, which is nuts to me if you haven't gotten into it yet, definitely rent it, Redbox it, borrow it, do what you have to do to play this game. Alright, until next time, thank you for watching.